What if the face you admired for decades suddenly felt unfamiliar, even unsettling? In Hollywood, plastic surgery is sold as a shortcut to perfection, but for some of the world's most famous celebrities, it became the very thing that erased their identity. Chasing youth approval or one more comeback, they crossed an invisible line where subtle enhancement turned into irreversible damage. This video exposes how fame pressure and just one more procedure can spiral out of control. Today, we'll reveal shocking before and after transformations, the critical mistakes surgeons rarely warn about, and the final moment when these stars realized they'd gone too far. Donatella Versace. Donatella Versace has long been regarded as one of the most powerful figures in the global fashion industry. It is often said that beauty itself is a form of power, but in Donatella's case, the pursuit of that beauty appears to have come with unexpected consequences. When she became more visibly present in the public eye in the late 1990s, following the tragic death of her brother Gianni Versace in 1997, Donatella embodied a classic Italian beauty, strong, striking, and full of unmistakable presence. However, by the early 2000s, her appearance began to change in ways that captured the attention of the fashion world. Her nose, once broader and more natural in shape, appeared noticeably slimmer and more refined, prompting widespread speculation about cosmetic surgery. Her once radiant face also began to show signs of extensive aesthetic intervention. According to many experts, Donatella may have undergone multiple facelift procedures in an effort to combat the natural aging process. Yet the results left her skin looking exceptionally tight and smooth, often described as wax-like in appearance. Her lips soon became another focal point, appearing far fuller than before, an alteration commonly attributed to lip fillers. The sharper, more pronounced contours of her cheekbones have also fueled speculation about the use of dermal fillers or possible cheek implants. Meanwhile, her eyes changed significantly over time, likely the result of eyelid surgery intended to address drooping lids and under-eye bags. Taken together, these transformations have made Donatella Versace's face one of the most frequently discussed examples in Hollywood when conversations turn to the high price of chasing eternal youth. Carol Bryan. When cosmetic procedures go wrong, the consequences can reach far beyond appearance, altering a person's life in devastating ways. Few stories illustrate this more clearly than the case of Carol Bryan, a Florida woman whose experience with cosmetic fillers permanently changed her future. In 2009, at the age of 47, Carol sought facial fillers in hopes of restoring lost volume and maintaining a youthful look. What she did not know was that a critical and irreversible error would occur during the procedure. Two different substances, reportedly including silicone, were improperly injected into her forehead and cheeks. Over the following months, her face began to swell uncontrollably, triggering a severe and disfiguring reaction. The swelling became so extreme that Carol's forehead sagged downward, partially covering her eyes and dramatically impairing her vision. Her facial skin tightened and contracted unevenly, leaving her appearance drastically altered and almost unrecognizable. Daily life became a struggle. At times, she reportedly used tape to pull her forehead upward just to see clearly. Desperate for relief, Carol underwent multiple corrective surgeries, but her condition continued to deteriorate. Years of physical pain were compounded by emotional distress and social isolation. Eventually, she turned to specialists Dr. Reza Jarahi and Dr. Brian Boyd, who performed an extensive 17-hour reconstructive surgery to remove damaged tissue and rebuild her forehead. Although the operation was life-saving, the damage could not be fully undone. Carol permanently lost vision in one eye and faced a long, difficult road to recovery. Today, she uses her experience to warn others, advocating for patient education, qualified medical providers, and greater awareness of the serious risks associated with unregulated cosmetic treatments. Jocelyn Wildenstein. Jocelyn Wildenstein, widely known in the media as Catwoman, remains one of the most visually striking examples of facial transformation in modern history. Her dramatic change in appearance has fascinated and shocked the public for decades. Jocelyn's cosmetic journey is often traced back to the 1990s during her marriage to billionaire art dealer Alec Wildenstein, a man famously passionate about big cats and wildlife. According to long-standing accounts, Jocelyn believed that adopting a more feline look would please her husband and help preserve their marriage. Over the years, she reportedly spent millions of dollars on cosmetic procedures intended to reshape her face. The most noticeable change has been around her eyes. Multiple surgeries, often believed to include blepharoplasty, appear to have lifted and elongated her eye shape, creating the upward slant that became central to her cat-like appearance. Her cheekbones also underwent significant alteration. Experts and observers have pointed to the use of implants and dermal fillers, which gave her face a sharper, more sculpted structure, one that differed dramatically from her earlier, more natural features. These changes, combined with repeated procedures over time, gradually transformed her face into something almost unrecognizable from her original appearance. Despite widespread speculation, Jocelyn has consistently denied undergoing excessive cosmetic surgery. She has famously attributed her distinctive look to genetics and her Swiss heritage rather than medical intervention. Now in her 80s, Jocelyn Wildenstein remains a well-known socialite, remembered as much for her extraordinary appearance as for her once lavish, high-profile lifestyle. Her story continues to serve as a powerful reminder of how far the pursuit of beauty can go and the lasting consequences it may leave behind. Raji Narinesing. If Jocelyn Wildenstein's transformation reflected an extreme pursuit of beauty, then Raji Narinesing's story represents something far more frightening, a complete betrayal of trust with devastating consequences. Her experience stands as one of the most alarming examples of what can happen when cosmetic procedures are performed outside proper medical oversight. In 2005, Raji sought inexpensive facial filler injections in hopes of enhancing her appearance. Like many others, she believed she was receiving a legitimate cosmetic treatment. Instead, she fell victim to a fake practitioner who injected her face with a dangerous mixture later reported to include industrial substances such as cement tire sealant and mineral oil. Once inside her body, these materials hardened beneath the skin, forming painful lumps and causing severe facial disfigurement. What was meant to create softer, fuller cheeks instead left her face uneven, swollen, and visibly misshapen. The damage went far beyond appearance. Raji experienced physical discomfort and profound emotional distress. Ashamed and fearful of public reaction, she withdrew from public life for years, avoiding cameras and social settings altogether. Her situation began to change only after she appeared on the television show Botched, where licensed surgeons attempted to repair the damage. Over the course of multiple corrective procedures, doctors were able to restore some balance to her facial structure, particularly around the cheeks and jawline. However, they determined that removing all of the foreign material would be too dangerous, leaving some hardened nodules permanently in place. Today, Raji Narinesing speaks openly about her experience. Rather than hiding, she uses her story to warn others about the very real dangers of black market cosmetic treatments and unqualified providers, urging people to choose safety over shortcuts. Anastasia Pokraschuk. While the transformations before her left many people stunned, the next figure on this list pushed cosmetic enhancement into entirely uncharted territory. Her story raises a simple but unsettling question. How far can someone go in redefining beauty through cosmetic procedures? Anastasia Pokraschuk, a Ukrainian model and social media influencer, is widely known for having what she herself describes as the world's largest cheek fillers. She began her cosmetic journey in her 20s, initially experimenting with relatively subtle enhancements. Over time, however, those small changes evolved into a far more dramatic and unmistakable look. Anastasia's cheeks became the defining feature of her appearance. Repeated filler injections gave them extreme volume, creating sharp, pronounced contours that stand in stark contrast to her earlier, softer facial features. The size and shape of her cheeks dramatically altered her facial proportions, producing a sculpted and unconventional aesthetic that immediately draws attention. Her transformation did not stop there. Anastasia also significantly augmented her lips, adding to the boldness of her overall appearance. To maintain balance, she reportedly used fillers along her chin and jawline, reshaping her lower face to complement her enlarged cheeks. The result is a look that many critics describe as unnatural or exaggerated. Yet Anastasia has remained unapologetic. She has repeatedly stated that she is pleased with her appearance and that cosmetic procedures greatly improved her self-confidence. In interviews, she has said that before her surgeries, she felt invisible comparing herself to a gray mouse. Today, she describes herself as unique, glamorous, and fully in control of her image. Her story highlights the deeply personal nature of beauty and how its meaning can differ dramatically from one individual to another. Mickey Rourke. The next story is a reminder that even when surgery begins as a medical necessity, the results can still be unexpected and life-altering. Mickey Rourke, once celebrated for his rugged charm and magnetic screen presence, was among Hollywood's most striking leading men of the 1980s. Through iconic roles in films such as 9½ Weeks and Angel Heart, he became known for his sharp cheekbones, strong jawline, and intense brooding appeal. That familiar image began to change after Rourke stepped away from acting to pursue professional boxing. During those years, he suffered multiple serious facial injuries, including broken bones and extensive damage to his nose. To repair the trauma, Rourke underwent a series of surgeries, reportedly including 5 operations on his nose and reconstructive work on his cheekbones. Although the goal was restoration, the procedures ultimately altered the natural structure of his face. Over time, his once angular features appeared rounder and more swollen. His cheekbones in particular became fuller but uneven, disrupting the balance that once defined his look. Additional cosmetic treatments, including Botox and facial fillers, likely contributed to a tighter, more rigid appearance, especially around the forehead and lips. Public reaction to Rourke's transformation was mixed. Many viewers expressed sympathy, understanding that much of the surgery stemmed from physical injury rather than vanity. Others felt the cosmetic work went too far. In later interviews, Rourke himself admitted regret, acknowledging that he chose the wrong doctor to repair his face. Despite these challenges, Mickey Rourke's talent endured. His critically acclaimed performance in The Wrestler proved that while physical appearance may change, true acting ability can remain powerfully intact. Courteney Cox. Is it possible to turn back time without losing a sense of who you truly are? Courteney Cox's experience with cosmetic enhancements offers a thoughtful, cautionary tale about how easily that line can be crossed. Once admired for her fresh, natural beauty as Monica Geller on the television series Friends, Cox was long seen as a symbol of effortless elegance and expressiveness. Like many in Hollywood, she eventually turned to cosmetic procedures in hopes of preserving a youthful appearance. What began as subtle treatments such as Botox and dermal fillers gradually increased over time as she tried to counter the visible effects of aging. As the procedures became more frequent, however, changes in her face grew increasingly noticeable, especially around her cheeks and forehead. Fans began to comment that her face appeared stiff or frozen, lacking the natural movement and warmth that once defined her look. Cox herself later acknowledged these concerns. In candid interviews, she admitted that the fillers altered her appearance so dramatically that she no longer recognized herself. Her once expressive features became rigid with overly enhanced cheeks and tightly drawn skin, giving her an almost doll-like appearance. As the changes progressed, Cox described experiencing a domino effect where one procedure seemed to require another in order to restore balance. Eventually, she realized that the pursuit of youth had taken her further than she ever intended. In 2017, she made the decision to have her fillers dissolved, choosing to return to a more natural version of herself. Since then, Courteney Cox has openly embraced aging, speaking honestly about her regrets and encouraging a healthier perspective on beauty, one rooted in authenticity rather than perfection. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos. See you in the next one.